In February 2025, Emily Ceco ran for her life. She said she had been held against her will, physically assaulted, and at one point couldn't breathe. She managed to get out and report what happened, filing a formal complaint of gender-based violence against her husband. Now, if the name Emily Ceco sounds familiar to you, that's because her and her husband's, Santiago Martínez's story began in the pods of Love is Blind, Argentina in 2024. Welcome, lambs. Welcome to this episode of Foreign Friday. Now, I did have another case already written and ready to go, but then this came across my desk and I was like, so I had to stop, research this, write it out and everything like that. You know my process, and that's why this is coming out so late. But I wanted to get this episode out. I was shocked when I saw this and I hadn't heard of it before, and I decided to bring this to you. Also, I'll talk about Love is Blind more at the end of this episode because I think it needs to be talked about, as well as some of these other reality shows. But let's get into this episode of Foreign Friday. But before we do, hi, my name is Kai. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. And this is Love and Murder, Heartbreak to Homicide, the Friday edition. Now, I don't always have a Friday edition, but when something comes across my desk, I need to report on it. I need to report on it. In order for you not to miss any episode, whether it's our full Monday episodes that come out every Monday or surprise episodes like the one that came out on Wednesday, like today's, or any other day that I might just randomly put out an episode, be sure to subscribe to Love and Murder on whatever platform you're on. The best way you could do it, though, is to head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Love and Murder. You can subscribe over there for free. And whenever an episode comes out, it actually goes straight to your inbox. So whatever email you signed up with, it goes straight to your inbox. So you are guaranteed not to miss an episode. And you do get some bonuses for signing up for free. But if you want more episodes like bonus episodes, after show episodes, you want to see the pictures from the case, videos from the case, or anything like that, then sign up to one of our bonus tiers starting at $3 a month or above. Patreon.com/Love and Murder. Now, without further ado, let's get into this Foreign Friday episode of Love and Murder. In 2024, 29-year-old entrepreneur Santiago Martínez entered a social experiment looking for a lifelong partner. He eventually connected with Emily, who was 24 at the time, and the two became one of the most successful couples to form a bond before even seeing each other. If you haven't watched Love is Blind, you can watch it on Netflix. It's about couples who connect. They go in these things called pods, so it's just different rooms, and they connect with each other without even seeing each other. So they're just talking and getting to know each other, and then if they decide they like each other, then they meet and propose right then and there, and then you go on a quote-unquote honeymoon and get to know each other even more. And then by the end of the experiment, if this is the person that you feel like you want to be with, then you get married for real. The best couple that has come out, well, in my opinion, there are actually like 3, I believe, who have come out of Love is Blind. Everybody's favorite is Lauren and Cameron. Then Barnett and Amber, and Nicole and Benaya. Those are my personal top 3. I may be missing somebody, but those are my personal top 3. So if you haven't watched it, take a look. I mean, if you want to talk about Love is Blind, we could talk about Love is Blind. You can head on over to the Patreon. We could talk about it over there. I really like Love is Blind, but I don't like the US version anymore because it seems like after season 1, really, everybody then just came on there to help boost their social media. So I really watch the other spin-offs of it. Love is Blind UK is my ultimate favorite. And then I watched Japan, but they only had like 1 season of that. And Germany. And I can't remember what else. Anyways, but that's Love is Blind. That's the gist of Love is Blind if you've never seen it. Their romance moved quickly, and they became engaged in the pod and proceeded to tie the knot in a civil ceremony during the show's final episodes. To the public, they appeared to be a success story, and the couple even began planning a more intimate wedding ceremony to celebrate with their close friends and family. But by February 2025, That relationship had completely broken down. Emily called off their wedding plans after showing up with a black eye. She reported Santiago and told authorities what had been happening behind closed doors. According to her account, the situation escalated into a violent confrontation where Santiago choked her and tried to smother her with a pillow to stop her from breathing. She said he also refused to let her leave, effectively holding her there against her will. She explained that she had to physically run away from the house to get out of that situation because talking was not working. Once the complaint was filed, things moved quickly. A court issued a restraining order to protect Emily. Santiago was then removed from streaming programs and effectively cut from the show as the allegations became public. So basically, I guess if you go to Love is Blind Argentina, their story isn't on there at all. And what started as something private turned into a public, full criminal investigation, as it should have. He was arrested and charged with attempted murder, repeated assault, and unlawful detention. By March 2026, the case went to trial. The prosecution built their case around what they argued was clear intent instead of an argument that got out of hand. They said that his actions, choking her and trying to smother her, were an attempt to take her life, and they pushed for a 16-year sentence and were confident enough in their case that they rejected a plea deal that would have allowed him to serve less time. Emily stood as the central witness, recounting the terror of her being smothered and choked, repeating, quote, "He tried to kill me." Her brother also spoke during the proceedings, and one of the most intense moments came when Santiago apologized and said that he still loved her. Her brother responded directly to him, quote, "If you loved her so much, why did you almost kill her? You beat her up. Coward." I agree with the brother. The defense, led by Santiago's own public statements, took a different approach. While he admitted to mistakes, he adamantly denied the intent to kill. In a since-deleted Instagram post, Santiago wrote, quote, "I do not justify violence in any way, and I was the first to acknowledge my mistake and to apologize privately. But that does not mean I take responsibility for trying to kill the woman I loved." Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. You gave the woman a black eye. You gave the woman a black eye. Are you serious? And smothering her. What does that sound like you were trying to do? I don't get what your thought process was. You don't justify violence in any way, yet you punch her in the face hard enough that you gave her a black eye. You smothered her. What else did he do? You choked her. And you don't justify violence. You did how many different forms of violence? And then you wouldn't let her leave so you can continue your violence. You don't justify violence in any way. And you're first to acknowledge your mistake. And so you're trying to act like she brought this publicly. Well, I tried to apologize privately. Bitch, you tried to kill her. And then you're not taking accountability for your actions. I take responsibility for the violence that I did, but I don't take responsibility for, trying to kill her. I would never try to kill a woman I love. Well, you did. He insisted on his innocence regarding the attempted murder charge throughout the proceedings, but he continuously claimed that he would never try to take the life of someone he loved. So basically, Santiago acknowledged the violence, but denied the intent that the prosecution was trying to argue. Well, in the end, the court sided with the prosecution, and as did Kai. On March 25th, 2026, the verdict was delivered. Santiago was found guilty of attempted murder, repeated assault, and unlawful detention. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison. The next day, March 26th, Emily spoke publicly about what that sentence meant for her. She said, quote, "I can't believe it. I feel it's over. I'm finally going to have peace. Justice has been done." She described the moment of the verdict and how it affected her physically, saying, quote, "I instantly burst into tears. My body was shaking. I felt like I had taken a backpack off of my shoulders and I was going to have peace after a long time." But even in that moment, you can hear that it's not just relief. She talked about fear too, about what happens later. Quote, I have 15 years of peace ahead. If he tried to kill me when I gave him everything, I can't imagine what he might do to me or my family after 15 years of anger. Then she posted on her Instagram about what she had been through. Quote, there were days of so much fear, of feeling lost, of not knowing how to go on. And there was also something in me that, even in the darkest moments, chose not to give up. She ended that message by saying, quote, this doesn't erase the experience, but today I feel like a part of my story was heard. Today my life begins anew. She also thanked her family and the people who supported her through what she called her darkest moments. This case went from a reality show relationship in 2024 to a report of violence in February 2025, and finally to a full criminal conviction in March 2026. And at the center of it, you have someone who said more than once, he tried to kill me, and then had to sit in court and prove it. Now she's trying to move forward, knowing the person she married is serving time, but also knowing that one day that sentence ends. For now, though, what she's holding on to is something simple. Peace. And I found a comment online saying, quote, they said love is blind, not that love wouldn't try to murder you. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, then call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-7233. Or go to thehotline.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential, and the hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. You can also visit my site, murderandlove.com. That's love and murder backwards, murderandlove.com for even more resources. What are your thoughts on this case? Let me know them in the comments below. Do you think that Emily is justified in her fear of what might happen in the next 15 years? Tell me in the comments below. And what I wanted to say, what I was going to say earlier in the episode, but I wanted to save it for the end, is that a lot of reports have been coming out about these reality TV show love stories, like Love is Blind, 90 Day Fiancé, all the spin-offs of this. And it's like a lot of domestic violence. I have another episode that's scheduled to come out. I don't know when. I'll have to look at my calendar. But it's about a 90 Day Fiancé couple who, if I remember correctly, I can't remember if the trial went on or anything like that, or if they're just in jail and they were arrested based on child abuse or child murder, something like that. But it's from a 90 Day Fiancé couple. And there's another 90 Day Fiancé couple where the man went to jail on domestic abuse charges. And there's another one where it's just so many of them. It's like you need to vet these people better before you put them on a reality show and bring them into other people's lives and endanger their lives. It's not that hard to vet somebody, especially if you're $1 million reality show franchise. Like, you need to do better. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say in the beginning of this episode, just talking about how many problems have come out from these reality shows. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and that's all I have for you for today's Foreign Affairs Friday. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes whenever I'm putting out episodes. We definitely know episodes come out on Monday. That's like, definitely we know that. But what if I see a case like this and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta record it for my lambs, and it just comes out whenever? Then you won't know about it if you don't subscribe. So subscribe right now, whatever platform you're on. Or the best way you could do it is subscribe on the Patreon. You could do it for free. Patreon.com/loveandmurder. Or you could choose one of the bonus tiers if you want even more cases and just, more bonuses. And to help keep this podcast listener funded and help me continuously bring episodes like this to you and keep the victims' voices heard. Patreon.com/loveandmurder. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.